Welcome to the Anime Audiophile Podcast. Enjoy. Itachi Shinden, Book of Dark Night. Chapter 6, Part 5. The sound of footsteps racing down the hallway stopped outside the door. "Father! Mother!" his brother shouted. "Sasuke! You must not come in," the father he had thought was dead shouted to the other side of the door. And then this time, he really did stop moving. The door slowly opened. Spotting the figures of his mother and father collapsed on the ground, Sasuke flew into the room. "Father! Mother!" Itachi showed his brother a face hidden by the moonlight. His little brother's face was damp with sweat, and his eyes were twisted in fear. "Itachi!" Sasuke took a step on trembling legs and began to speak desperately, spreading both arms wide. "Itachi! Itachi! Father and mother are..." "Ow! Why? Who would do such a..." Itachi flung a kunai into the door behind Sasuke. NGH. A narrow cut appeared on the boy's shoulder, exposed by the rip in his clothes. Foolish little brother. His final job. He would never be allowed to go back now. Mangekyo Sharingan. Aya. Father. Blood spray. Mother, Itachi. The Uchiha crest ripped apart. Two people covered in blood. All the hatred he would leave behind, so his brother could live. Crawling on the ground, almost licking it, Sasuke turned just his face toward Itachi. "Why did you?" "To measure my capacity." "Measure your capacity? You killed them for that?" "I had to." What's... Power came back to his little brother's body. "What's wrong with you?" Unable to move properly after being caught by the Mangekyo Sharingan, Sasuke simply leaned forward as if to start running, and fell over. Before him was the face of their father, the spark of life gone. In that instant, his little brother got up and flew from the room. He ran out of the house and fled onto the street. Fleeing showed an attachment to life. It was proof of a desire to live. Finish it. He stood in front of his brother. "It's not true. My brother wouldn't do this." Because pretending to be the kind of brother you hope for was to determine your ability. Live. You will be an opponent to test my abilities. You have that potential in you. Live. You felt anger and hatred toward me. You've always hoped to surpass me, so I'll let you live. Live. For my sake. Live. Just like me, you have the power to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. But there's a catch. Sasuke stayed silent. You have to kill your closest friend. Sasuke's eyebrows shot up. Just as I did. Sasuke's eyebrows threatened to shoot off his forehead. Live. That was you. You killed Shisui? And now I have the eyes. Live. In the main hall of Nakano Shrine. Under the 7th tatami mat from the far right, there's a secret clan meeting place. What? There, you'll find the true secret of why the visual jutsu of the Uchiha clan exists, and for what purpose. Sasuke's face was full of questions. If you awaken it, then there will be 3 people who have the Mangekyo Sharingan, including me. If that happens, then I'll be right in letting you live. Live. Right now. Sasuke looked alarmed. You are not even worth killing. Live. Baby brother, you're pathetic. Survive. If you want to kill me, settle for hating me. Hate me and live like the coward you are. Clinging to life without honor. Please. And someday, when you have the same eyes as I, come to me. Live through this reality that I'm leaving you. Trembling, his brother collapsed as though his strings had been cut. Sasuke stuck his right leg out to brace himself, the eyes he looked at his older brother with filled with a crimson light. Awakening. And so, Sasuke gained another power to live. The timing was appropriate. Itachi leapt up into the sky, about to disappear. Stop! His little brother flew up into the sky after him and threw the 3 kunai that had appeared in his hand at some point. Itachi held his breath at that sharpness. He dodged too, but he couldn't completely get out of the way of the last one. He tilted his head slightly and took it on his forehead protector. The force of the kunai undid the knot where it was tied. The kunai plunged into the ground, and Itachi's forehead protector tumbled down next to it. As his little brother charged him from behind, breathing hard, shoulders heaving, Itachi slowly picked up his forehead protector. Already using up the last of his strength, Sasuke wouldn't be able to move from the spot. But Itachi didn't have the luxury of worrying about the positioning of his forehead protector. With the Konoha mark facing off to the right, he tied it roughly. He wanted to get away from there as soon as possible, because Itachi was crying. His feelings, supposedly frozen, were shaken by the figure of his little brother desperately, clumsily, awkwardly clinging to him. Sasuke was mustering every last ounce of strength he had to try and stop his big brother. Itachi loved this Sasuke so much he could hardly stand it. He even had the impulse to run away with him. But under no circumstances could he do that. Sasuke had to walk in a place where the sun reached as a ninja of the village. Itachi's life from that point on would be in the darkness. They would never live in the same place again. Not until Itachi's final days. Only then would a chance meeting in their lives be permitted. The hero who killed his older brother, an evil criminal, and took vengeance for their clan. That was the glory that Sasuke would be given. For that purpose, Itachi would come face to face with his little brother one more time. He would be killed by his brother. That was the form of Itachi's death. To that end, he could not allow Sasuke to see him crying. He pressed his forehead protector onto his head and steeled himself. Farewell for now. Itachi's body moved faster than his thoughts. Before he knew it, his little brother was in his field of view. At that moment, he understood for the first time that he was looking back. His desire to burn the image of his brother into his mind had moved his body. But that was another thing he could not be permitted. A mistake. Because Itachi could feel the hot tears streaming down his cheeks. He quickly turned away from his brother and resumed his jump. The aura of Sasuke collapsing behind him, he leaped into the moonlit night, not bothering to wipe away his tears. The full moon, full of such beauty he wanted to rip it to pieces, was so hateful to Itachi he could hardly stand it. Not even an hour had passed since Itachi's departure when the Anbu convened in the village to collect the bodies. Danzo walked down a road covered in corpses. He had just left Hiruzen. Upon learning of Itachi's evil act, the Hokage was furious, and he turned the brunt of that on Danzo. Before he made it out of the Hokage's office, he had been dismissed as counselor and made to promise to dissolve the foundation. But now that the tragedy of the annihilation of the Uchiha clan had been achieved, there was no reason for him to cling to the role of counselor. And even if the foundation were officially dismantled, it was still more than possible for them to go underground and maneuver in secret, away from Hiruzen's eyes. In the end, Danzo got what he wanted. Lord Danzo. A man wearing a fox mask with red markings on it. What's wrong, Gozu? Danzo called his subordinate by name. Gozu was silent. The instant he saw the 2 openings in the mask hidden under a hood, Danzo gasped. Red eyes with a pattern like 3 magatamas mixed together in the center. You. I'll always be watching, Itachi, dressed as Gozu, said. If you lay a hand on Sasuke, I'll leak all the village's secrets to enemy lands. You should know what that will bring down upon the village, Itachi. I'm outside the village now. I thought you were a capable pawn. It does seem that I misjudged you. If you lay a hand on Sasuke, I will destroy you. Carve that into your soul. Itachi turned into countless crows and vanished. Don't take your eyes off of him, Danzo muttered to no one. In his ears, he heard the sound of insect wings. Sneaking all the way in here without anyone noticing. You really are a capable ninja. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, smiled as he sat up in his futon. So, I suppose you determined that no one will be able to hear us in here? Yes, Itachi replied, kneeling in front of the futon. I've already marked your name down in the bingo book as an S-rank criminal. You shouldn't be able to infiltrate the village, much less sneak all the way into my bedroom. Will you tell me what you wanted to talk with me about that you would go to such lengths? It's about Sasuke. No need to worry. That child's done nothing wrong. We will take care of him as one of the children of the village. The Hokage's strong words eased Itachi's heart. Thank you. But is it Danzo? Yes, Itachi was grateful to the Hokage's powers of insight, as sharp as the Sharingan. On the other hand, he also hated them. If Hiruzen was so gifted at reading the minds of others, then why couldn't he have managed to find a way to cooperate with the Uchiha clan? Itachi did have the urge to press the older man about the issue, but he knew it would do no good thinking about that now. It wouldn't change the fact that Itachi was an S-rank criminal. The entire Uchiha clan, with the exception of the brothers, Itachi and Sasuke, was destroyed. That was reality. No need to worry about Danzo. He's been formally dismissed as counselor, and I also ordered him to disband the foundation. Will he meekly follow orders? He has already stepped down as counselor. The foundation has been disbanded, on the surface. But I cannot deny the possibility that he is cultivating it in secret somewhere. I ordered the people who were watching the Uchiha clan to monitor him now. There was no longer any need to monitor the Uchiha clan. The third Hokage's words dug into Itachi's heart. Fear not, Itachi. I will not allow him to lay a finger on Sasuke. I appreciate that. Itachi bowed his head deeply. Well, then. He stood up and turned his back to the Hokage. What will you do now? There's an organization I'm interested in, Itachi replied, eyes still on the door. So, you'll join them? Yes. I'll watch them from the inside, and if it looks like they're going to act out, I will do whatever I have to stop them. Even leaving the village, you are still more than anything a ninja who loves peace. Itachi felt that he was still a ninja of Konoha, even then. The village of Konoha, where Sasuke lived, was Itachi's home. Even if he wanted to abandon it, he could not. What's the name of this organization? Akatsuki. How about you show yourself, Itachi muttered to no one in the middle of the deserted woods. His voice had not even faded away when a small flame flickered to life in the empty space. It burned ferociously for a moment before quickly growing smaller and disappearing. Only a faint scattering of ashes remained. Among the ashes dancing in midair was a piece of a transparent wing. You're here, aren't you? Abure man. I called myself Shuguru before you, yes? A myriad of small winged insects came together in the forest, where there had previously been nothing, to create an enormous dark form in empty space. The buzzing of their wings layered together to form words that reached Itachi's ears. You're not interested in giving up on watching me, and going back to your master? You also understand that such a thing would not be permitted, don't you? No, The insects gradually took on a human shape. A man wearing a white tiger mask appeared out of the ether and floated in midair accompanied by the sound of countless tiny wings. I don't plan on being Danzo's pawn forever. He does not care about your desires. For him, the most important things are what he should do, and how he should be. So, a stalemate. Itachi looked up at Shuguru. Then there's only one way to resolve this. His Sharingan glittered. That sort of thing has no effect on me. Not on you. Itachi concentrated his chakra and boosted his Sharingan to the Mangekyo Sharingan. He was conscious of the eyes of the insects in Shuguru's body, too many to count. He felt a dull pain in his right eye. It was because he had been overusing the Sharingan ever since that night. You said that you're always watching me. But you're only one person. You eat and sleep. So who's watching me, then? No need to speak in such a roundabout manner. Oh. It seems you've noticed. Something seemed to be wrong with Shuguru, floating in space. It looked like he was desperately fighting something, his body jerking and twitching. Did you think I hadn't noticed the insects watching over me? Impossible. The Mangekyo Sharingan on my Koju insects. By sharing your chakra, you assimilate what the insects have seen into your own experience. It's a more effective method than shadow clones. The sound of wings disappeared from within Shuguru. At the same time, his body, suddenly gaining gravity, was sucked down to the surface of the earth. Unable to control his body, Shuguru plunged into the ground headfirst, incapable of even landing. NGH, on. Shuguru's injured vocal cords emitted a real groan. Itachi looked down on him coolly. This is for Shisui. Wait. Amaterasu, he murmured. A black flame sprouted on Shuguru's shoulder. The strange blaze spread, in the blink of an eye, to swallow his entire body. As if trying to abandon their burning host, the insects fled from every hole, but they were all caught up in the dark blaze. This fire will not go out until whatever I'm looking at is completely burned up. I won't let even one of the insects nesting in you escape. Shuguru's cries of agony rang out through the forest. Around him, insects buzzed and fluttered, shrouded in dark flames. They looked almost like black fireflies that bloomed in the daytime. I still can't believe it, her former teammate said, staring into the teacup in her hand. Shinko let out a sigh, turning a sympathetic gaze her way. I mean, that Itachi would do something like that. A tear spilled out of Himuka's eyes, and a small ripple rose up on the surface of the light green liquid in her cup. I can't believe it, neither, but facts re facts. But, senpai. I'm not your senpai no more. Quit with calling me that already. It's just, come on, have a dumpling and feel better. Shinko offered Himuka one of the sweet bean dumplings set out on the bench. Thank you, the other girl said, as she took a skewer of the tiny round treats, opened her tiny mouth as wide as she could, and stuffed a dumpling in. It's really good, she said, smiling. Shinko smiled back as she turned toward the road, and looked up at the sky. A single bird danced in the clear blue. It was a strange bird, carving out circles in the sky like a hawk or an eagle. So, I sorta kinda get it, you know? What's that? Himuka asked, popping another dumpling in her mouth. That kid might have been 6 years younger than me, but he was way more grown up, Shinko answered, still looking up at the sky. I know what you mean. I mean, I'm older than him, but I just naturally ended up calling him Master Itachi. And he had all kinds of annoying things he was carrying around, so I think maybe he just reached his limit, yeah? I mean, I heard he even killed that cute girl he brought here that one time. He's not the sort of kid to do that. Not that Itachi. If they kept talking, she'd start crying, too. Shinko desperately pushed back the hot thing welling up in her chest. I suppose you're right. So, he did have a girlfriend, after all, Himuka murmured, head hanging. As if to banish her tears, Shinko turned around forcefully. So, that mean you fancied Itachi, then? And no, that's not gonna be straight with me, She sprang at Himuka, and poked her in the side. Her former junior teammate began laughing. Shinko murmured, too quietly to be heard, it's all right. I get it. She was casually wiping away the tears that leaked from her eyes once more, when she heard the voice of the owner calling from inside the shop. Whatever happened, life still went on. Did you take care of that little annoyance? Itachi nodded silently at the man sitting on the enormous stump. They were on a rocky mountain near the border between nations. The trees around them were neatly felled, revealing the bare earth. The wind gusted ceaselessly across the desolate landscape. Withstanding these gusts that threatened to blow him away, Itachi stood facing the man in the mask. So, then, what will you do? The mask covering the man's face, patterned after a vortex, turned toward Itachi. The round hole in the area of the man's right eye stared at him. Uchiha Madara. I'm an S-rank criminal. No matter where I go, people will be after me. Did you think about what we talked about before? I should think it would be quite convenient to protect a wanted man like you. Right. I'll introduce you to a truly interesting man, Madara said, and turned his face toward empty space. Right. Call him. He appeared to be talking with someone via chakra. It's been a while, HM? There's just someone I want you to meet. Right. Oh, go through pain and send your chakra here. Align your chakra with pain. Madara looked at Itachi once more. He's here. A rainbow-colored wave rose up in the nothingness next to the stump Madara was sitting on. It shimmered and shook fiercely for a while, but then gradually took on the shape of a human until finally becoming the clear figure of a man. A man Itachi had seen before. Oh my, it's been a while, HM, Itachi, the rainbow-colored vision uttered in a creepy voice that sent a chill up his spine. You, Itachi murmured. Madara raised his voice. One of the legendary Sannin. Orochimaru. Strange for you to be so sarcastic about it. The corners of the Rainbow Phantom's mouth curled up slightly. Perhaps I'm a little overexcited at the situation. Heh. That's not like you. I suppose. As he listened to this conversation between the two, carried on in the familiar tones of old friends, Itachi's thoughts drifted elsewhere. Orochimaru was a serious criminal who performed forbidden experiments on people before he was chased out of the village by the third Hokage. And together with Jiraiya and Tsunade, he had been named a legendary Sannin in the Second Shinobi World War, where he had been feared by many ninjas. Uchiha Madara was a ninja of legend from the founding of Konoha. Both were so powerful that there wasn't a ninja in the world who didn't know their names. And these two had joined and maneuvered in secret with the organization Akatsuki. What on earth were they planning? He couldn't simply let this go. We met any number of times while I was in the village. I suppose it's been 9 years then, Itachi. He hadn't been particularly close with the man. Back when Orochimaru was still in the village, Itachi knew him well enough to say hello. They were not friendly enough with the intimate way Orochimaru spoke to him. You left the village 6 years ago. Oh my, is that so? I've been reborn once since then. Using forbidden jutsu, of course. Orochimaru had been doing experiments on people from the time he was in the village, so Itachi wasn't especially surprised that he had managed to be reborn. This jutsu, in exchange for offering the user eternal time, slightly dulls your perception of time. You've had the experience of not being sure if you ate a certain meal yesterday or the day before that, haven't you? For me, 10 years is no different from 10 days ago. Itachi stayed silent. Heh. None of that matters, though, does it? This man brought you and I together for an altogether different reason, yes? The Phantom's lips stretched out to the sides, like a snake's mouth. If you were to join Akatsuki, I too would find it heartening. Are there any other ninjas who are in Konoha? Me and this man, and if you join, that will be just 3. I see. From Orochimaru's words, he assumed there were also ninjas from other villages in Akatsuki. A darkness was beginning to squirm in a place beyond the villages. That village could only maintain its peace by eliminating our clan. And the ninja is a creature that can only make its presence known by forcing others to yield. I wouldn't mind seeing what kind of measures they come up with against your organization. That answer is very you. Orochimaru laughed mysteriously. Madara ignored him and stood up. Welcome to Akatsuki. Itachi took the proffered right hand. It was frightfully cold, a hand in which no trace of blood could be felt, so cold he almost wondered if the leather glove that covered it was frozen. All right, then. I'll take my leave. We'll meet again, Itachi. The phantom of Orochimaru disappeared into thin air. Shall we go, then? Where? First, the village hidden in the rain, were our bases. Madara's eyes, peering out from behind his mask, shone red. Suddenly, Danzo's words came back to life in Itachi's mind. Chaos will follow you throughout your life. At that moment, Itachi was about to step into the vortex of the people trying to create chaos. That night, he had lost the light of hope, along with his clan. Be the best ninja, a Sento Hokage, use that position freely to lead the world to peace, and then rid this world of all fighting. That was the path of hope he had envisioned. He had lost everything. But even if hope was lost, the dream remained. Even if he didn't walk down the path of hope, he could still chase after his dream of ridding the world of fighting. If he was the possessor of bad luck, then so be it. If it was Itachi's destiny to constantly call chaos, he would use that to his full advantage. He would draw all the fighting and disaster and hatred of people in this world into his heart. He trusted that he would be able to realize his dream by positioning himself in the center of the vortex. Fight, fight, fight through, and beyond that. His little brother awaited him. In the world of peace that would come, once he had swallowed the chaos. In the center of it stood Sasuke, the hero who struck down his older brother, the personification of great sin. The darkness is my dream's partner. Itachi ran after Madara. Above his head, a single bird flew, as though accompanying him. Spreading out before him was an eternal darkness. Even so, on Itachi's mouth, a divine, sublime smile rose up. His little brother was at the end of this path. I'll be waiting for you, Sasuke. Itachi's last journey was beginning. Was the world truly saved by sealing away Otsutsuki Kaguya? No, it wasn't. If the infinite Tsukuyomi was released, and people returned to their old way of living again, they would no doubt make the same mistakes. What's truly terrifying is not enormous evil. It's the little evil nesting in the hearts of people. My older brother knew that. He bore these evils in himself, and died a criminal who wanted peace more than anyone else. So then, what should I do? Only the truly strong can see the weakness in the hearts of people, take in their evil feelings, and continue to live despite that. Only I can do it. So then, I'll walk down the path that my brother gave his life to show me. Revolution. End of Chapter 6 and Itachi, Book of Dark Night. Thank you for listening. Remember to like and subscribe for lots more to come.